Hi again. So this is day 2 of taking videos, and I am outside drinking coffee. It is Memorial Day. I try to get outside almost every day, really, just a little bit. It's healthy for you to do that, especially I feel like it regulates your nervous system, just to be anywhere outside. It doesn't matter if you lack green space. It is still good to be outdoors and to get outdoors once a day. It's better if you have greenery, like trees and, you know, plants. If you can get out and go hiking. It's really good for your health. There are studies that show it's very good for mental health, nervous system regulation, things of that nature, lowers blood pressure. So, so I try to do that, you know, once a day if I can. Some days I can't. There's no time for it. But you know, just walking between buildings in a car, that's not getting outside. It is getting outside, but it's not. It doesn't have the same benefit as if you just spend time outside and you're present with the outdoors in some capacity. Um, I was going to show you a snail, but I can't find it. I um, I feed the birds, and so I have this one feeder that's in the tree that's over me right now, and um, some of the seed falls down. The squirrels like to knock it down. I feed the squirrels too, I guess. You know, uh, they know me, they see me, and I'm out of seed right now, and they're mad at me, so they're like squawking at me today, and I feel bad. I'm gonna go buy some seed for them, but anyways, I saw some movement in the some of the cracked seeds on the ground and like the shells, and I thought, wow, what is that? And I took a closer look, and it was a snail, and I really, this is something that I've done, you know, since I was a kid, just going outside every day. And when I was 4, I would sit on our back patio and I would play with the insects. I would just kind of let them crawl on my hand, or um, I knew which ones to stay away from, you know, like the wasps. But, um, you know, I had a bee land on me once when I was 4. I have this memory of the bee landing on my foot, and I stayed very still. And then it flew off, and it was all fine. Um, Somewhere along the way, I became very afraid of wasps and bees. So, as an adult, I don't know that I would have that kind of patience. But I would not harm the bee or the wasp. But well, maybe the wasp. I don't know. I've been stung by lots of wasps running, so it really hurts, and then it just like lasts for 2 weeks. It's just kind of this itchy, painful uh, sting, this bump that lasts for like 2 weeks. I'm pretty sure I'm a little allergic to them. So, but bee stings are not that bad. Um, I would tolerate a bee sting, you know. But yeah, I can't find the snail. I looked away for just a moment, and I can no longer find it. It's completely camouflaged. If I see it again, I will show you. Anyways, I just wanted to. I'm going to do this. I'm going to try and do this daily. Uh, just kind of as I go through this new journey, this new path that I'm going through. Um, it may not be as long as the video yesterday. Apologies for that. It was a rambling video, but that's kind of how I am too. So I, I I digress quite a bit. um, I just think things are interesting. You know, it's like I hit a topic and I'm like, oh, let me tell you about this, about the, you know, let me give you this little tidbit of information about this. Like, I'll just bring up something and I want to talk about it. But I'll try to kind of hone that in a little more. Anyways, I don't feel like I was as clear as I wanted to be yesterday on a certain topic that I did discuss, and I want to be a little clear on that. So when I talked about AI and how companies are starting to really push it, including my own company, and the 5-day work week, as well as co-locating, I feel that it's important to tie that together because for me it's very clear, like what I'm talking about, because I am me. I know what I mean. But in communicating it to others, I might not be quite as clear. And when I talk about those things together, I believe that there will not be as much need for employees. Like, we won't need as many employees as we ramp up AI, and especially as we ramp up AI agents, which I've not built an agent yet. That's what I meant when I said it would be nice to be able to learn to have AI do the work for me. I meant building an agent to do the work for me, not necessarily just using AI, because I use AI every day. You know, at work, we are measured on if we use it. So I make sure to use it because I don't want to get in trouble, right? Also, it is useful. In addition to that, it can code for you, and that's like absolutely fantastic. I can write code and then I can put it in there and it can optimize it for me, which is wonderful. You know, I mean, why wouldn't you use a tool to help you make something better? Or it just writes the whole code for you. You give it the fields, it'll write it all for you, if you don't know how to write it. And so I'm not trying to say that it's all bad, although I do think it's very bad. But it is interesting. It's an interesting thing to learn. It's an interesting thing to see, what does it do? How is it helping you? There are just pieces of it that where I've been at conferences where I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna have a job. You know, like there was a conference I went to last October and I realized I'm not gonna have a job in a few years because of the ramping up of AI. And so I found that extremely concerning. And then it's like, if it's mapping me out, like how I work, which it is, then my company is kind of using my intellectual property of myself to teach it. And then they're just going to like release me or make me so uncomfortable until I quit. It doesn't feel fair. But anyways, so I just kind of want to hit on, going back, I just kind of want to hit on what I want to be more clear on, and that is when I'm talking about AI and when I'm saying AI and the 5-day work week and the co-location, I think these are all tools to get people to quit. So that you have natural attrition, so that they don't have to pay us severance, so they don't have to have the news saying, oh, we're laying off 7,000 people, like what you saw with Meta, or 8,000, I don't remember. I think they kept 7,000, they laid off 8. Because it's not good. People are not happy about any of this, rightfully so. And you know, we recently heard a tech person, you know, call us lower level human capital. So, which, you know, another person came in and defended them saying, oh, well, it just wasn't artfully said. Well, I don't know how you would, yeah, like people make mistakes saying things 100%. I agree with that. Like it could be just, you could hear somebody say something and then take it and run with it. And, you know, we've all seen the media do that. And it may have not been meant that way, but how on earth would you expect for that person to say something in a more artful way of that nature? I guess is my question. Because it's saying the quiet part out loud, that they don't want us anymore and they want us to naturally leave. So that they're just going to make things more uncomfortable for us by pushing us to be in the office 5 days a week and knowing that attrition will happen naturally because of that. Well, not enough attrition happened with that because people, the economy is bad and people can't just pick up and leave. So, and people may like the culture where they're at. They may like their job. So of course they're going to make an attempt to stay. So then you go through maybe a co-location strategy. Well, then, you're still trying to naturally have people walk away. But people are still staying and they're finding other roles, or some of them will leave. But anyways, that's what I think is happening. I think companies are trying to both have funding for more AI, which means they can't really have as many employees, ramp up AI using the technology at its best and creating agents ultimately to do the work, to get rid of more employees, and hoping that they can right-size themselves through these uncomfortable policies that they're putting forth without having to pay severance, which is also expensive. So to clarify, that is what I mean. I think companies are trying to avoid paying severance to people by instead making them uncomfortable enough that they quit. I don't know how else to put it. That's what I think is happening. And I don't think I'm wrong. Because there's just too many policies at so many different companies. I have friends also that are experiencing things like this. And there's too many companies. The companies that are moving to AI are the ones doing it. You must be at the office, you must do this. So friends that I have that are companies that aren't using AI aren't having these really strict policies coming down on them. They are able to still have a hybrid schedule because the company wants them to stay. They're trying to make their employees happy. And they realize being able to work from home 2 days a week is beneficial for everyone. It's a healthier environment. Their employees are less burnt out. They're happier. They're, and that happiness makes them more productive ultimately. If you are constantly living, having to commute 5 days a week into the office for no real reason, because we have the technologies to not have to do that. You're having to use your vacation time for doctor's appointments because, you're no longer close to your doctor when you go to the office. So you're having to maybe drive an hour to go see your doctor, and then it's you have to plan for it more, and then you have kids who get sick, and you only have so many work from home days out of the year. It's pressure, and when it's frowned upon for you to work from home at all, this is applying pressure to people that have built their lives around hybrid schedules for years now, that are suddenly finding themselves having to figure out what they can do to keep working at a job that is suddenly requiring them to be at the office, and then suddenly requiring them to find another role. And I don't know. Anyways, and the hits keep coming. It's they want us to do more with less. It's hard. It's a kind of a brutal time to be at any company that has moved in this direction. And I'm not going to lie to you, it does make me want to quit. Obviously, I talked about that yesterday, that I just would like to walk away from this. part of me also wants to fight it because I want fairness. Like I want my gold watch. I want my retirement, my gold watch. I wanted to walk away like making the decision to retire, which is I'm not that far off from it. I'm really not. I had planned to retire early. I've been, planning that for many years. So I've always kept my expenses low so that I can. And anyways, this is not the retirement I saw. And not that saying I saw a gold watch in my future, I certainly did not. The world has shifted from that quite clearly ever since Reagan, which is a different topic I won't get into right now because I could pull you off in that direction for hours. I'm not a fan of Reagan. I mean, let's be frank here. I'm pretty sure he destroyed the economy of our country for many years. Anyways, my parents are from New York and New Jersey, and when they moved here to Texas, my mom was able to stay at home, and my dad was able to work, making something like $16,000 a year. They owned a house in a middle class area. I went to private school when I was little, really little, and then once Reagan became president and we had the recession, all that went away, and anyways, it never came back. So my dad, didn't have his job anymore, and he tried to make it, bringing the business on his own, and it just didn't work. And anyways, it shoved us into poverty, and my parents ultimately ended up divorcing. And the rest is history, So I saw firsthand what Reagan's policies did to people in our country. I was part of the harm that happened. So inequality, it's just, we have massive inequality, and I think it's rooted in those policies. So, I'm still part of the harm at this point. But anyways, we all are. We can't seem to get a grip on it. It's like no matter who's in office, they're not working for the people. Citizens United, it's like it just crushed us. Anyways, I don't even understand why anybody would want to do this. Like, you live here too. Why would you want to do this? And it just, to me, it's just corruption and greed. Like, that's the reason. Because when you think about it, you have to live in this country too. Why would you want to make it so much worse for everyone? For the great majority. And the only reason I can see is because you can make a lot more money and have a lot more loopholes to not participate. Like, you can set yourself aside from the average person, and not have to deal with the indignities that we deal with every day, like what I'm going through right now. If you make the system less fair for people, where we don't have as much choices, we don't have as much protections, where corporations are people, where they can, where lobbying can take hold of the people actually creating policy to bend it to your favor even more over many years. There is no other reason than corruption and greed. Anyways, there's probably lots of reasons. It just makes me upset. But anyways, So, anyways, yes, I'm in this situation. I'm not enjoying it, obviously. I can walk away. We do have the freedom to walk away. Like, we are not required. There's not a contract on me for like 99 years or anything like that. Like, I'm not having to stay there. I can actually walk away. But again, it's like your safety net. Like, I won't have health insurance for me and my daughter. And ACA right now is, especially if you're in Texas, man, it's a mess. I won't be able to afford it. It's not affordable here, because they won't take the subsidies or like. Anyways, it's a mess. I'm not going to have health insurance. I'm going to walk away. I'm not going to have health insurance. My daughter's not going to either. That'll be a first time in my life. I can't afford to move to a blue state. So it's not like I can just go, oh, let's pick up and leave. My daughter wants to finish out at her high school, and I get that. She's got one more year. Yeah, there's a lot of, there's nothing, I don't see too much good in any of this at this point. But, I guess I'm at a position where I can actually have a choice. It's not perfect by any means. Like, I'm not ready to retire, but I could live very inexpensively for a very long time, and I would still be okay. So, I think that's kind of where I'm at, and it would be great if it wasn't so scary. But yeah, so that's kind of rolling back to the original topic. I absolutely think that companies are doing this on purpose to make people uncomfortable enough so that they will naturally, I'm going to use that word a lot, naturally leave. And I'm using that word for a reason. I don't dislike the person that said it, actually. I have a lot of admiration for that person that said it. But I also wish they would do things a little differently, because I actually think that severance and giving people at least a chance to be able to make it if they're going to leave is more compassionate than making things so much like a pressure cooker and making their life so hard that they have to leave. I guess that's where I'm going with this. And that's their right, like, legally they can do that. They can make your life hell at work. They can be as mean to you as they want. They are legally permitted to do that. Is it moral? No. But, legal and moral are two different things. We all know that. It's actually one of the first things I learned in B-Law. What's moral is not legal. What's legal is not moral necessarily. Like, these things just often don't collide. But yeah, so they can make life extremely uncomfortable for you, and they are within their legal right. There are certain things that they are not within their legal right to do. And but the policies that make you uncomfortable don't even touch close to issues with legality. So just know that. So we are being kind of pushed out. And it all seems so polite from the surface, but it's just policy changes, right? Just policy changes. But it's very disruptive to people's personal lives. anyways, that's where I'm at. And I wanted to clarify that because I don't feel like I was very clear. Also, the ends justify the means, not the means justify the ends. Again, like none of this is scripted. I'm just kind of rolling. And I meant to say the ends justify the means yesterday. So, yeah, if somebody is talking to you about the ends justifying the means, just know they're about to do something bad. All right. Have a great day. I might see you later today. I may try to create something else. Get outside in nature, go be outdoors. Just look up in the canopy of the trees, feel the plants. I don't know, like help get your nervous system regulated. We have a long road ahead of us, and just try to do it out of the vision of a flock camera. There's no reason for anyone to see, for an AI camera to see your mood or what you're feeling. You deserve some privacy. We all deserve privacy. And we deserve to go public when we want to go public. We deserve to be able to say what we want to say within, reason. I mean, come on. But you can say anything you want, really, but it doesn't necessarily mean that there won't be consequences for what you say. But we deserve to have that privacy and go public and freedom of speech without people trying to clamp down on us, and touch grass. We've got a long road ahead. All right. Thank you.